In Sinn Féin, we have been clear about the need for an inclusive discussion on the issue of a united Ireland. The importance of dialogue cannot be understated. It provides us with the potential to discover the many opportunities a united Ireland can bring, as well as the challenges we face. The event I hosted yesterday in the European Parliament is another example of our inclusive approach to discussion, both nationally and internationally. The Reuniting Ireland Lessons from Europe addressed the examples of other reunification processes in Europe, and this was without doubt very valuable. It showed that in the case of Germany, it was not the unification of two German states into a new united Germany. In reality, the East was absorbed by the West. This meant that one political and economic system was imposed on the other, with little regard for how it would affect the lives of the people in the East. East Germans were simply expected to simply conform, and the speed at which the transformation took place was rapid. Now, this is not what we want in Ireland, and it is Sinn Féin's view that it will be the people of Ireland, north and south, who need to define the form and the shape of a new Ireland. We, as a political party, are determined to engage in a very meaningful discussion with the different sectors of society to shape our vision of a new Ireland. Now, during the event, we also had some very interesting and insightful contributions on the economics of a united Ireland. They showed that two economies on a small island is not efficient and is an obstacle to reaching our full economic potential across the island. Far from being an argument against unity, the argument and the economic case is an argument for unity. Now, with this in mind, we need to separate fact from speculation. And the common argument that I have heard and many others have heard of those opposed to reunification is that consideration needs to be given to the level of subvention to the North from the British Treasury. A united Ireland is not economically viable, so they tell us. Well, we challenge this. The British Treasury claim that the subvention to the North is £23.2 billion. Now, we know that this includes £12 billion to the executive, £5 billion to pensions and benefits, and £500 million to councils. And the other £5 billion is for the British Armed Forces in places like Afghanistan, and the cost of royal visits and the maintenance of royal properties, palaces. In our view, a united Ireland would not inherit much of these costs. We certainly would not be funding the British military establishment, or we believe the royal family for that matter. Now, furthermore, the Department of Finance and Personnel estimate, or guesstimate as we would say, that the revenue generated in the North is over £12.7 billion. However, and this is very important, this does not take into account the amount generated by tax and VAT from big multinational companies like Tesco's or Sainsbury's, Boots and M&S and so on, who pay their taxes through their headquarters in England rather than in Ireland, rather than in the north of Ireland. So Sinn Féin is seeking sight of the balance sheets, which the British government has not given us access to. One has to ask why. If we are going to debate the economic arguments of reunification, then we need to do it based on all the facts. And in terms of political and social unity in Ireland, there are processes we need to be working on now, and indeed Sinn Féin has been working on them for a long time. The British government should trigger the border poll as committed in the Good Friday Agreement. It should honour its Good Friday Agreement commitment for a Bill of Rights, and the Irish government should produce a green paper on Irish unity to engage with the Protestant Unionist loyalist tradition on its vision of a country united. Now, events like the one held in Brussels yesterday deepens our understanding and informs our plans. I believe that opening up to a wider audience, it becomes clearer to more people who want a sustainable, peaceful, united future, that reunification makes not just economic sense, but also political and social sense. We are, without doubt, strengthened in our diversity, and given that there is much talk about a shared and a better future, all of the traditions should at least have the confidence to discuss and debate the form and shape of things to come.